Greetings. Yep, second video with the same shirt. If you saw the other video, you know why I'm doing that. Anyway, a couple videos ago, you saw me where I was ranting about a couple of things, and I was walking while I was ranting. And I walk every single day. I get at least 5 miles in. I never get less than 5.5 miles in a day. Most of the time, I'm between 6.5 miles and 7 miles a day. And I walk mainly in the house. And I have basically 2 walking trails. One is totally in the living room. I have a big living room. So I kind of walk around in a figure 8. I can walk in 2 different directions in that figure 8. And that works out for me. The other one is where I walk through the living room, through the dining room, into the kitchen, and then come back. And on the day of the rant, I was going the long route. So I was walking through the kitchen. Now, I was going to buy a new floor mat for the kitchen because the one that I had over by the sink is just degraded. It wouldn't stay down anymore. It was a thin mat. I didn't buy it, but it was thin. It never stuck. Some stuff had been put under it to try to get it to stick to the floor, and it just wasn't having it. So I was going to buy another one. I saw they were $40 a piece, and I said, before I pay $40 for this, let me go back in the kitchen and check things out. And the thing is, I have a kitchen mat in front of my stove, and it's cushioned. It's got a real nice spongy cushion, and I love walking on it because it's kind of comforting. And I also had one in front of the refrigerator. So I asked myself, why do you have one of these mats in front of the refrigerator? It makes no sense. If ice drops on it, it just gets wet and it melts. If anything else fell down and got on it, well, it's harder to get it off the mat than it is off the floor. But the mat is as spongy as the one that was in front of the stove. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? Yes, I said what I'm going to do. Southern habits. I haven't broken them in all these years. Anyway, so what I said I was going to do was take this mat from in front of the refrigerator and put it in front of the sink. So I did that. And I spent enough time at the sink because I'm always cleaning something. And that's where I wanted the new mat to be anyway. And it's red. And the one in front of the stove is red. And I wanted a red mat because I'm red crazy, as you can see, my wall. So it worked out well. I said, oh, this works out nicely. I didn't have to spend $40 on another mat. I'm a happy guy. So the other day, because I just did it on the Saturday, Monday, I'm in the house basically by myself. My mother's not home from adult daycare yet. And I decide I'm going to walk the long route. And as I'm walking the long route, every once in a while, it felt like my foot was going to slip. And I'm like, what the devil? What am I doing? Why is my foot feel like I'm going to slip? And then I realized the reason my foot thought it was going to slip is because over the years, I'd gotten used to stepping on the mat in front of the refrigerator with my right foot. And you just get used to that kind of thing because it's there. It's like walking outside and knowing the terrain. And so you get to it and you adjust yourself. And then you know that it's there. And so you don't have to worry about it anymore. Well, the mat wasn't there anymore. So I had gotten used to stepping up. So I had to consciously tell myself, okay, stop doing that. And I had to keep walking. So over the next 5 minutes, I thought about it. Every time I went there, I said, it's not there any longer. Just walk normal at that spot. I'm okay with it in front of the sink because I never have walked that far. So I never step on it there. And I've always stepped on the one in front of the stove. So that one didn't move. So I still knew I could step up on that. And I thought about how funny it is that we get locked into some strange habits that some of them are not bad. We don't necessarily have to worry about it. And some of them we probably need to look at because we probably need to change some of those things. I did a video a few months ago where I talked about how hard it is to change a habit. And most of the time you're saying that I need to have a need for changing that habit. Not a want, because wants won't get it done. Not repetition, because repetition most of the time isn't going to get it done. But you need to have a need. Well, I'm not alone in something like this, but I'm going to talk about my thing. Over this past year, and it's been a hard year, I had thoughts on different things I was going to do for the year. And you know what? I didn't do as many of them as I thought I was going to. Yeah, COVID got in the way, divorce got in the way, other stuff got in the way. It was the worst. It was a super hot summer, so I couldn't go out as much as I wanted to, and all the restaurants didn't open, so I couldn't go out to eat as much as I used to, and it just really threw off my game. So I got into some pretty bad habits. I spent hours just sitting here at the computer. Sometimes I would get to a certain period of the day and I'd say, wait, what have I done today? And it's a bad habit to get into. But I did that because my routine was messed up. And instead of, figuring out how to get into a better routine or another way of being able to do the stuff that I needed to do, I just kind of let things go and I just kind of fell into a bad routine. And that doesn't work out well. So what I've been doing now and what I've, during this week and last week and the week after where I'm, in my rest and relaxation thing is I'm doing some thinking as well. Because you can rest and think at the same time. And I'm coming up with ways to try to help me get beyond some of the bad routines that I've gotten into. I've started getting more engaged in my gratitude journal, and I decided to force myself to get at least 10 things I'm grateful for. Because sometimes, my initial goal was just to write 5 things. And for the first year, every once in a while I got to 7, but most of the time it was just 5 things. Look, I've written in the thing and I've done it. But I'm trying to up the gratitude thing because the more things you can think about, then the better it makes you feel. It's an odd conundrum, but there you go. I've actually written 15 things I'm grateful for a couple of times. That's not a bad thing. It's not bad if you take a moment to listen to a motivational thing that may only take a couple of minutes. These are things that you can do that make you feel good and may put you in the mindset so that you do good things. So trying to find ways to break yourself away from that is not a bad thing to do. For instance, I got my Fitbit here, and the Fitbit will tell me when I'm within 10 minutes of not hitting 250 steps in an hour. So I have it set 14 hours a day to buzz and let me know if I haven't hit it. Now, if I've already hit it, it leaves me alone. On my smartphone, I have an alarm that's set every day at 1:45 to remind me to take a shot of insulin. Because the last video I talked about being diabetic. But I have things like that that help me out. But I can set a lot more alarms. I can use my planner a lot more and then, sync it to my phone. Okay, it's not a direct sync because obviously the planner is paper and the phone is not. But still, I can, match things up so that there's things I do. One of those things I need to learn how to do, for instance, is after I've got my laundry, fold my laundry up and put it away within the same day, if not the same hour. Sometimes I wait up to a week, which is a shame because by the time I'm actually putting stuff away, I actually have to wash again. These are just weird things that I know I'm not the only one who does it. Y'all do different things too. You may not want to own up to it, but we all need to get into a place where we are comfortable of changing a routine that doesn't really work for us. So if you're watching too much TV, if you're spending too much time on the internet, and you have other things that you really like to do with your life, maybe you want to go out and walk. Maybe you want to have a career, whatever. You have to look at some of those bad routines that you have and decide, what, it's time to change that up. It's time to do something else. That's my thought. My name's Mitch Mitchell. Let me know what you think. And we got one more of these where you're going to see me in the same shirt. And we'll see where we go with it. Y'all take care.